Mackey Motors in Lake City is the place to find new and certified used vehicles, along with a knowledgeable and helpful sales staff. Find new roads at Mackey Motors in Lake City.
Want to welcome you back here to 93.7 KKRL. Tonight's coverage of Coon Rapids Bears baseball here in the Mackey Motors postgame show. We're now joined by Kolby Culbertson. Kolby, I got to start out here, man. What a heck of an effort for you on the hill here tonight. It was kind of a hotter day to kind of start out, but I want to talk about your performance on the hill. What were you kind of seeing from that tri-center offense here tonight?
We talked about all week long that their first four are very strong. So I know how to be sharp and have my command there and just work my way through with my fastball. I
was going to say that the things I saw from you here tonight, that fastball was working well from you, but then you also kind of changed things up, throwing it to the outside to see if they reached for it. What was kind of the pace you were trying to go for? You were going for like some outside, some fastballs. What was kind of the cadence you were trying to get onto?
I was trying to keep them just on their toes, not knowing what's coming, because you can't play everything down the middle, or a good team like that's going to start hitting them.
Absolutely, and you and their pitcher McGee were just kind of going back and forth with each other's offenses, and knowing that Tri-Center had those good hitters, what did you see from their hitters? Because obviously you got them fooled more times than not.
Well, I saw that they're starting to hit the curveball well towards the end of the game, and my fastball is still keeping them off, especially with my two-seam. It can run pretty well.
I also want to talk about the defense behind you. I think the defense behind you played extremely well, especially McAllister. Talk to me just about the relationship you guys have on this defense, because obviously you guys seem to have really great chemistry together.
If the ball gets hit in play, I have a good feeling that someone's going to make a play, and we're not going to make very many errors as a team.
Offensively, both teams really didn't get much going, so I want to ask you what you saw from their pitcher McGee when you were up to bat.
We knew he was a big curveball pitcher, but we didn't know he was going to probably throw over 60% curveballs to us, because we usually like to jump velocity and hit the ball hard. I
was going to say, I know White Oswald got a hit later on in the game. Were you guys kind of sharing with each other what was going on, or just how did you think you were going to kind of combat him?
Like I said, we kind of jumped, or we realized that they're throwing a lot more curveballs than we thought, so we're sitting curveball instead of fastball.
Absolutely. Again, just an outstanding performance for you out here on the hill. Just want to talk to you just real quick. I know the season comes to a hard end here for this season, but talk to me about this team, because I know you guys have a lot of fun out there. I know you guys joke around with each other a lot. What has this team meant to you here in this season?
It's just been great playing with them throughout my high school career so far, and it really sucks to lose them.
Absolutely. You come back as a junior next year. What are some things you're looking to improve upon in the offseason?
I wanted to improve my bat, because I'll continue to improve pitching as I grow and just keep working on sharpness, and I want to be able to be a three-pitch pitcher most of the time.
Absolutely. Well, Kolby, again, a disappointing loss here for tonight, but a heck of an effort all season long, and hopefully we'll talk to you at some point later on down the line. John Waddle joining us here on the post-game show. Coach, I know this isn't the way you wanted this season to end. You're losing a really great group of guys as seniors. Want to talk to you about what this season meant and just the senior leadership you had on this team this season.
Well, what a tremendous group of seniors. They've been that way not just this year, but the previous years. And, they carried on Crusader baseball tradition. Obviously, they're heartbroken, to be honest with you. They had bigger expectations. They thought they had a good opportunity to win this baseball game, which they did. And our goal was the state tournament and then to make some noise in the state tournament. And when you don't get that opportunity, you feel bad about it.
Right. I think Kolby said it pretty well. I mean, these guys had hitters up and down their lineup who hit very well, 300, 400, even into the 500s for averages. What was the game plan going into tonight when you were talking with Kolby? What were you looking to do to get him off guard?
Well, we told Kolby, the last couple of days, if he could throw 3 pitches for strikes, and if he had some velocity on top of it, that would be a bonus. But he needed to throw his changeup, his curveball, and his fastball, and he needed to get it across the plate in all situations. If he could do that, I thought he could cause them problems, because a lot of teams in 1A don't see 3 different pitches, especially in the strike zone. So he was just absolutely outstanding. If you'd have said that we were going to give up 1 run tonight, I would have said that we're probably going to win the baseball game.
Absolutely, and it was a pitching battle all throughout. I mean, none of the offenses really had a chance to kind of look. But so talk to me just about McGee. I mean, he was throwing strikes after strikes. A lot of the plays were by him. What were you trying to tell your guys to combat him, and what were you seeing from McGee on your side of the field?
Well, every single game you have to adjust to the pitcher on what he's doing, and we didn't do a good job of that tonight because he was throwing 60-70% curveballs. We needed to set on just curveball earlier in the baseball game. We talked to our kids about that, but we honestly didn't do a very good job of that. I think our kids would probably fess up to that. I'm not being critical from
Right.
that standpoint because our kids have adjusted all year, but give McGee credit, he was throwing strikes. And then when we did sit on the curveball, we didn't swing at good ones. We were swinging in the dirt, and then he ran that fastball up over our head, so we were trying to cover too much of the plate.
The one play I want to ask you about that I thought was a little bit funky, you had, I think it might have been drawn up in your playbook, not too sure, but Culbertson faked a throw over to second. How did you kind of concoct that, or what kind of happened there?
Well, you just hope that the guy gets a little overly zealous and is going to take off and maybe sees the ball, or obviously the ball wasn't rolling in center field, but it's a no risk play.
Right.
We're trying to keep him a step or two closer in that situation for the bunt, so that we can maybe get a force out at third base. We did a great job getting 2 strikes on the batter, but then he poked it into play and squeaked it in there. They were running on the play too. That's where we needed the line drive right at us.
Right. Want to talk to you about this team coming into next season. Obviously, like you said, you lose some very great senior leadership. I've gotten the opportunity to know these guys for quite a while. What does this team look like for next season? Who are some of the guys you're going to lean on to for that senior and maybe even junior leadership?
Well, they're going to be hard to replace
Yeah.
because they're very skilled players, and they had tremendous careers. This is one of the best, believe it or not, you wouldn't have known it tonight, one of the best hitting ball clubs that we've had, but we did struggle at the plate tonight, unfortunately, and I think that's the bad taste that our kids have in their mouths. But we'll lean on Culbertson. Lance Clayberg's a great player too. We've got some young kids that got a lot of experience there. You saw that. Parker Hayes got the base hit just as a freshman and stuff. So we've, Cal Hayden's just an 8th grader.
Right.
So we've got a good nucleus coming back. We obviously have 4 big holes to fill. That'll take some time. You just don't step in and play at the level that we want to play at overnight. So it's going to take some off-season work for our young guys, and we're just going to have to see if we can get some guys to step in.
Well, Coach, I know you and I both have a long trip home. Disappointing loss here for tonight, but thank you so much for everything here this season from all of us at Carroll Broadcasting. Long nights we've had this season, but thank you for everything you've done for us, and hopefully we'll talk to you down the road.
Well, proud of the kids, and sometimes you don't come up with the right score on your side, but we'll bounce back and hopefully continue the tradition.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you so much for everything this season.
Thanks, Tyler.